Hey, it's Doug with Backcountry Pilgrim. Today I am out on the Salt Creek Loop in Auburn, California, testing out a new piece of gear here, the Nebo jacket from Outdoor Vitals. One of my first clues that I was really going to like the Nebo jacket is that when I first received it in the mail, the weather was too bad to really try it out fairly, and I knew it was going to be some time before I was able to give it a decent test in the conditions it was made for. But I started noticing that each morning when I got ready for work, I kept reaching for the Nebo jacket to get me through the cool morning. Unlike my fleece or a puffy or even one of my rain jackets that felt too warm pretty much immediately after I got in the car, from the time I walked out of the house into the cool morning air, inside the car, and even into my office, which was cold until the heater kicked in, I was able to just keep the jacket on and felt completely comfortable because it wasn't weighing me down and it was keeping me just warm enough to be comfortable. So I was a pretty big fan of the Nebo before I even got on trail. Today is actually a really good day to test this jacket out because it is meant for those in-between conditions where it's not freezing cold and rainy, but it's also not super warm. And that is pretty much exactly what California is delivering today. This has been a record snowfall year. So because most of the trails and roads are under snow right now, I decided to actually head up north a bit. It is raining practically everywhere that I would hike south of here. So today I am hoping to get a good trail review of the Nebo jacket in these in-between weather conditions, which are exactly what it was made for. So I'm not too far into the hike, but one of the first things that I am noticing about wearing the Nebo jacket is that I'm not noticing it. It just integrates seamlessly into what I'm wearing. I can tell that there's material touching my arms, but I'm not getting it all clammy, even though I have started to sweat a little bit. Unlike my foray jacket, which is quite a bit warmer and heavier, being made of Gore-Tex, lots of zippers, lots of pockets, or my ultimately minimalist Frog Togs jacket, which basically has no features and also no breathability at all. This just seems to be a great compromise. It actually feels incredibly light. I can feel that there is a breeze, but it's not penetrating the way it would if the jacket wasn't on. But I also don't feel weighed down at all. And I don't feel like it is over-insulating me to the point where it's causing me to sweat. Another thing I really like about the Nebo is that when you open it up, it's just almost weightless. It just floats along in the air. So you're getting really good ventilation just by unzipping the front zip. With the exception of the front pocket, there is no interior mesh on the jacket, so your skin is right up against the material of the jacket, something that I am actually thankful for because it feels really good. It's super smooth, super light. It doesn't have that heavy plastic feeling you get with some jackets, nor does it have that super lightweight papery feel of others. Instead, it feels almost like a cool liquid against your skin. It's quite pleasant. All right, it is time for the back sweat test. A little breeze has started up. I've walked long enough, feeling like I've got a little sweat built up. And that is really nice. You know, I know my back is sweaty because I've been hiking and I've got a backpack pressed up against it. But that freezing cold shock that I usually get when I take my pack off in the breeze is simply not happening. I can feel a little temperature difference, obviously, but even with this breeze, it's not too bad, and I have not been sweating any more than usual. This fabric is pretty amazing. Even though my arms are sweaty, I'm getting really no tackiness. It still flows over my skin. It's like it's got an air pocket in between me and the material. So far, I'm loving this thing. California can be a rather strange place to hike. You can start off with thunder clouds and a cool morning breeze and quickly transition to a bright sunny day by lunchtime. So having layers is important, especially having layers that can handle more than one kind of temperature or weather. When I'm hiking down the trail and have a good pace, I don't really want to stop and take off that puffy I had on in the morning, even though now it's causing me to sweat and I know it's going to cause me problems if I don't. What I love about this Nebo jacket is that it just rides the line between warm and cool. allowing a greater temperature range with the same piece of clothing. I, for example, am a pretty hot hiker. I have been in freezing temperatures, snow literally falling on me, wearing nothing but a minimalist base layer and a rain jacket, and I was still managing to work up a sweat. You probably have experienced those times where it's starting to get cold or maybe even a little rainy and wet, but you just really don't want to put that rain layer on because you know it's going to make you hot, you know it's going to make you sweat, and you might end up just as wet from the sweat as you would have been if you just left the jacket off. Typically though, the real problem with getting wet is not simply having water up against you. If that were the case, it would be better to have rainwater soaked into your shirt than sweat because it's not also full of salt. The real problem is that when you get wet and you don't have another layer on, you are exposed to the wind and the outside temperature, and that can lead very quickly to hypothermia. So in those cases, it is better to let yourself get wet from sweat because the temperature inside the jacket isn't being constantly recycled by the wind or outside temperature and cooling you down too rapidly. So those conditions are actually perfect for the Nebo jacket because while it is light enough and breathable enough that it's not going to completely protect you from rain, at the same time, however, it's not acting like a greenhouse and superheating your body to where it's causing other problems. Well, this has been a good gear test day. I'm about to find out if the Nebo jacket is waterproof. Okay, here we go. Okay, pretty dry. So I definitely feel wet at this point, but what's interesting is when I reach inside the material, it feels fairly dry. Now my arms are wet. When I reach underneath the sleeve, it's definitely a sheen of water or sweat or something on there. But the wind that is hitting me is not feeling nearly as cold as it would if I didn't have the jacket on. So while I certainly would not rely on this jacket as a rain jacket per se, it is doing a lot better than no jacket. All right, the jacket is reaching the saturation point. You can see the water beat it up, but over here it is passing through. So it's been about a half hour of rain, and basically I've reached the point where the jacket is still shedding water. However, it is also letting enough through that it's really not functioning as a rain jacket anymore. That is the hood. And I had a hat on, so that is not sweat vapor, that is water. But it's not a rain jacket. All right, well, that is the Nebo jacket from Outdoor Vitals. A fine piece of equipment for a very particular niche, but one that if you have experienced, I think you'll like a lot. If this video was helpful to you, I would appreciate it if you gave it a like. And if you are into hiking, camping, backpacking, and the gear that goes with it, click on subscribe, click the bell too, so that you will be told when new videos come out. Until next time, I'm Doug. This is Backcountry Pilgrim. Thanks for watching.